Hello and welcome to the lineup. I'm your host, Logan Herkey, and today I will be speaking with one of my good friends, Patrick Hemingway. Patrick is a junior communications major at Villanova University. He is also a member of the Villanova Swimming and Dive team. Patrick has been swimming since he was 8 years old. He was also medaled in the 50 free his freshman year at the Big East Championship. So hi Patrick, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, hi Logan, thanks so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here. This is really cool.
So where did you find your passion for swimming?
We're going right into it. All right, so passion for swimming, that's a great question. Honestly, I fell in love with it from day one. Maybe not day one, but I'd say the first week. So I was 8 years old, as you said, when I started swimming. And the first practice I had, maybe even before I started practicing, when I first got in the pool, absolutely hated it. Had one of those like usual stories, parents threw me in, I started to drown, they had to get me out, one of those things. So it wasn't like a love at first sight with the water, but when I actually learned how to swim, learned the strokes, and I joined a team when I was 8, that's when I really started to enjoy it. I joined a summer league, Colonial Clippers, when I was 8, in Harrisburg. And my first coach, Rusty Owens, I'd say he instilled that passion for me. Pretty much immediately when I started working with him, he was ex-Marine. Like, I think when I started with him, he was 81 years old.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely knew what he was doing.
Right.
He actually coached Marines. He taught them how to swim. So I had a ton of experience. He was just great with kids. And yeah, I'll always remember the first practice. So I wasn't great, like I knew how to swim, but their best swimmer on Colonial, at the end of practice, Rusty was my coach's name. He had us doing widths, not even the full length of the pool yet, but he said, it's like, all right, take your mark, go. And he had me in the fastest kid race. And we pretty much like touched at the same time. It was pretty much a tie. And that's when I realized, I was like, I'm pretty good at this. Like, and when you're good at something and when you're a kid, you tend to enjoy it. So pretty much from day one, when I actually started swimming competitively, I definitely found that passion.
Definitely a good mentor.
Yes.
And what was your training like growing up as you progressed?
Yeah, so it started out pretty standard. Like I said, I was just swimming in the summer. That was just a couple days a week. But I mean, I don't know if you know this, but swimming is, you tend to get up pretty early, swimmers do. Right. And it's always been that way. Like, so since I was 8, or there was 5:30 practice. So I just have vivid memories of getting up at like 5 and then seeing my dad all groggy, like, why is he swimming? Like, wow. this is not necessary. But he would, he'd go and drive me, take me to practice. I'd swim with Rusty. Just great memories thinking about that. But then as I started to get older, I joined so that was the country club. Then I joined another summer league when I was like 10. And I pretty much bounced from team to team for quite a bit, just because of coaching issues or just problems with the team that fell through or something like that. Right. But I'd say it was a steady progression. Started lifting when I was like 14. Every year, just adding a little bit more, like stretching on my own, just things like that. And now at this point, swimming for Villanova, the NCAA rule is you can't surpass 20 hours a week. So that's pretty much what we're doing. I'd say it's like 14 hours in the pool a week and then 6 outside of the pool, whether that's lifting or dry land or stuff like that.
On top of schoolwork, that's probably a lot of commitment.
It's a lot of commitment, but I love it. Like I said, I've been very passionate for the sport for a long time. I like to think that, like, even being part of a D1 swim team, like, I definitely am towards the top of, like, my love for the sport. I mean, you have to love it to a certain extent to be there, but, like, I'm always talking about it. Like, it really is a huge part of my life.
And how did your acceptance go with joining a D1 team?
Yeah, it was different for me just because of COVID. Pretty much my entire class. Usually swimmers get like official visits and they get to go spend a night with the team, see how they like it. So for me, I came into Villanova pretty much blind. Like, I went to the campus once and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. Like, I want to be here. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know anyone on the team. We did a couple Zoom calls, but that's not really enough to get to know someone.
Yeah.
Get to know an entire team. But just talking to the coach, he really made me feel like, this is what I've always said, and I truly believe it. At Villanova, it was, let me see what we can do for you, make you a better swimmer, make you a better person. And then all the other coaches I talked to, it's like they were trying to let me see what I can get out of you. Let me use you for 4 years, and then you're gone.
Yeah.
So that's definitely why I chose Villanova.
What were some other teams that you were thinking of joining?
Yeah, I looked all over, really random teams. I think my top 3, it came down to Villanova, George Washington, and William and Mary. Mm-hmm. Then also I looked at Dartmouth, Cornell, Penn State, bunch of different schools, George Mason, like all over pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And what events do you do?
Main events, I'm a sprinter. I've always been a sprinter. So the shortest event in NCAA swimming is the 50 freestyle, the 100 freestyle. So those are my 2 best events. Mm-hmm. And then when I was younger, I was a backstroker. And my name on Instagram is actually the Backstroke King. I'm sure you know this. And I've never changed it. It's always been like iconic in my mind. But and that's when I was younger, that's all I could swim. I could only swim backstroke.
Oh, okay.
And so that was like my passion from the start. Not only swimming, but it's the only thing I could swim like fairly well.
Right.
Yeah. And so I swam backstroke pretty much all through high school until my freshman year of college. And I didn't do backstroke. I didn't do it. So I'm a junior. I didn't do it my freshman year. I didn't do it last year. But we got a new sprint coach this year. And he had me swim backstroke at our midseason meet a few weeks ago. And it went pretty well. I won a best time.
That's awesome.
It wasn't like anything crazy fast, but for midseason, got me excited. And it was fast enough where my coach, I'd always want to swim backstroke because I'm like, this is my comeback season. Like, I'm going to be the backstroke king. Yeah. But he banned me from swimming backstroke in all of practice until my final swim at our midseason meet. And he said, after I got out, he said, all right, Patrick, the ban has been lifted. And so ever since we've been training, since we've been back in the pool, which was last week after Thanksgiving break when we got back, I've been doing a lot more backstroke. And
that's awesome.
I've been enjoying that.
Yeah, because it's still such a big part of you.
Yeah, so 50 free, 100 back is what I'll be doing at Big East this year. Mm-hmm. Those are my main events.
And what does a typical practice look like?
That's hard to answer. I can't really say like what a typical practice is because there isn't a typical practice. Mm-hmm. But we have like a weekly block kind of where like Monday mornings or just mornings in general is usually power, which is more explosive work, like raw sprints. So we have like towers or buckets, which is basically you're just pulling weight like a really short distance, really trying to feel like the pressure, the resistance of the water. And just so when you take the extra load off, you feel like you're moving faster. Mm-hmm. We also kick in the mornings. And then our Tuesday, Thursdays are usually a little more aerobic based. So we'll be hitting like 7 to 8K, 1,000 yards, 7 to 8,000 yards. And then Monday, I'll just say Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's just say it's like speed work. So basically race pace training. And then Saturday is more of that, except we get a little more rest when we're training. So I'd call this like a lactate set, where you're going to have a ton of rest, but whenever you're giving an effort, whenever you're swimming, like it's an all out, like everything you have. Mm-hmm. So when you get out, like physiologically, your body is going to start to hurt and your muscles are going to fill with lactic acid. And when you train through that, it makes it so that when you're actually racing, when you only have to do it one time and you're in the middle of the race, your muscles start to fill with lactic acid, you're going to be able to push through it.
And does the whole team train together?
So Villanova, we have a men and women's team, mm-hmm. and we're different from most D1 teams. So gender-wise, we train together. But then, no, we have our specialty groups. Mm-hmm. So there's sprint group, which obviously I'm a part of, stroke group, which is like the IMers, or butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke. And then there's the distance group, which is like just distance freestyle, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Some of the IMers train with them. But like more so in the beginning of the season, we'll all train together just to get like an aerobic base. But then after a few weeks, we start to break off into our specialty groups.
And how do swim meets run?
Yeah. So now that I'm in college, I'll just give you like the average like dual meet. You can swim, I'm trying to remember this. I swim, it's weird with like the relays and like the individual events, but I do, usually there's 3 relays. I'm in all the relays because I'm a sprinter. So 3 relays, I'm in both of them, or all of them, and then 2 individual events. And it's just a point system. It'll change from meet to meet, but obviously if you get first, you get the most points, and then it just goes down the line. I'm trying to remember, I should know the numbers considering I want to be a swim coach when I graduate, but I think it's first is 9 points, and then it drops significantly. Then I think second is 5, and then third is 4, 3, 2, 1, down to 5th place.
And these points are all accumulating to help you in Big East?
So it's completely separate. These points are for the specific meet, and then whatever your best events are, you can go and swim that at Big East. And then there's a whole other point system at Big East. I think first place is 20 points there.
Okay.
So it's kind of complicated, but it differs between dual meets and Big East. Because at Big East, it's 3 days instead of like 1 hour. Dual meets are super fast. It's pretty much you go, you swim your events.
I didn't realize it was that quick.
Yeah, it's really, really quick. That was a shock to me, really big adjustment for me moving from high school. Because high school and like USA swimming meets, they would tend to be like a few hours.
Right.
And you go to college. And for me, like I need my rest. Like anyone who's on the team knows, like for me, if I have to swim back to back, like my first swim is phenomenal, it's great, and then number 2, I just like fall off a cliff. It's horrible. Yeah.
And I understand the team is swim and dive. What's kind of the difference between the swimmers and the divers?
Yes, so everyone should know this. There's a huge difference, although it is the swimming and diving team, so our points are combined with the events we do. Swimming and diving, completely different sports. So swimming, you're obviously going up and down the pool. Diving is off the boards where you're doing backflips and stuff like that through the air. Yeah.
How many meets are in a season?
So unlike basketball, or I guess most college sports, will have typically, it differs a little bit, but I want to say like 5 to 6 dual meets. And then we have our mid-season and then our championship meet. And
how long does the season run?
So we are actually in season, let's say our first dual meet's like September, and then it ends, this year it's going to be end of February, usually it's beginning of March. So it's a pretty long season. Right. Yeah.
And where is the Big East Championship this year?
This year it's going to be in Indiana, which is different because since I was a freshman, I think the last few years it's been Long Island, New York.
I understand your team has a good track record at Big East. Could you talk a little bit about that?
So our women have a great track record at Big East. Last year they actually won 10 straight championships, which is just incredible. It'd be awesome to see them get 11. The guys struggle a little bit, but yeah, we're just trying to get better. We got 4th last year, and we think we can get 3rd, so it's exciting.
How many teams compete?
The Big East is pretty small. On the women's side, there are 6, and then on the guys' side, there are 5.
And what's your favorite part of being on the team? I know that's a huge question.
Yeah, I'd say just like the built-in friend group. I remember coming in freshman year and just seeing the people around me struggle, being like, who am I going to hang out with? Who are my friends? But for me, even though like it wasn't like genuine right away, it was still nice just to be able to like hang out with people. And like I discussed with my roommate, like since we committed, we were all thrown into a group chat, and then immediately we started talking. And so I already knew my roommate a little bit. I knew the other people just talking through Snapchat. And so that was really nice having them right when I got on campus.
Yeah, that's nice for a college setting when you don't know anyone.
It was really nice.
And do you have a favorite funny moment from swimming?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. Just one that comes to mind. I can't say it's like the funniest. I'm sure there are a lot more, but This, my friend reminded me of it today. Last year, it was a 200 freestyle relay, and our coach was saying it was a really close meet. We were swimming NJIT, and it came down to the last relay, and our coach pulled us aside, and he told everyone who was in it, he was like, all right, we need fast exchanges, fast relay starts. So that means pretty much how it works. When a swimmer's coming in, this is the wall. Right before they touch the wall, the person diving off the blocks wants to be like already in motion so that when they touch, like just the toe is on the block. So basically just a fast exchange. So that we're not wasting any time, so that we win the meet. And Mikey, a freshman at the time, he was kind of like a skittish kid, and I could tell he was really, really nervous for this relay. He was a freshman and everything's on the line. And Mikey, oh my gosh, thinking about this. So he was second, and the first kid touches, and he's still on the block.
No.
And it's like, Mikey, what are you doing? And so I don't know what he was thinking, but after like a second, he goes, and our coach just explodes. Like, I've never seen him this mad. Like, he just chucks his paper on the ground and just starts cursing like crazy. And I just never saw him explode like that. So in the moment, I thought it was pretty funny. Or maybe not in the moment, but in hindsight, looking back, right. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I was a little bit angry too in the moment, but we ended up winning the relay, so it was okay. It all worked out. But yeah, that was a little bit scary when he was just standing on the block. But also funny looking back on it. So.
And what's off-season training like for the team?
So in season, I think I mentioned this, we're 20 hours a week. Off season, we're allowed to go down to 10. Okay. Some of us choose to do like a hybrid. I think last year I was doing like 12 to 15 hours a week. So things just back down a little bit. You still have to obviously stay in the water, because if you don't, then you're going to get out of shape really, really fast. It's just one of those sports where like you have to continuously always be swimming in order to be remotely decent at it. But yeah, pretty much everything's standard, except you're not feeling the pressure of the season. And I'd say usually it's just cut in half what we do in season from out of season.
And what are you hoping to accomplish at the rest of your time here at Villanova?
What am I hoping to accomplish? I want to be a Big East championship individually. I think saying this out here for everyone here is a little ambitious for me to say, because the best I've placed was 6th, and that was my freshman year. But I love my new coach, Keenan Doles. He's the sprint coach, and working with him has been a lot of fun, and I definitely trust what I'm doing with him, trust the process. I think it's all going to work out. Winning it this year is a little ambitious, but I mean, I also have next year.
Right.
This year it'd be really cool to get top 3. If I get top 3 and hit a certain GPA, I can be an academic All-American. So I think that's definitely possible. And also as a team, like I said, I really want us to just keep moving up.
Right.
We should not be 4th. I know some of us, there's always that goal of winning it. I don't know if that's realistic this year, but can definitely get 2nd or 3rd. So, yeah.
And you mentioned earlier that you want to be a swim coach. Could you talk a little bit about that?
I do, yeah. So coming into Villanova, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. My parents always said, like, just find something you love, find something you're passionate about. Like I have no idea what I'm going to do. Like there's nothing that's really just like grasping my attention. And then I realized all of a sudden, I was like, I love swimming. Like swimming's my life. Why do I have to leave this sport or just leave the pool deck in general when I graduate? So I think it was end of my freshman year. I made that pretty much my plan is when I'm done swimming after college, I'm gonna try to get my master's degree in coaching and then coach a college team. I have a little bit of experience. In the summers, I usually go just a local summer team in Harrisburg. I help out with Heatherfield. I swam for them for a few years. I didn't do that last year. Last year, I actually came to Villanova. Our head coach, Rick Simpson, he runs a few Villanova camps just for the kids in the area, and helped out with that for a few weeks. Got to be at Villanova during the summer.
Awesome.
Got some really valuable experience with that.
Great.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Patrick. This was great to learn about this.
Thank you, Logan. Thank you for having me.
That's all for the lineup. I'm Logan Herkey, and see you again soon.